Our top stories tonight: IPID head Robert McBride passes a lie detector test after the head of the Gauteng Hawks charged him with various crimes. Another deadly day on South Africa's roads. At least 13 people died in an accident in the Western Cape. This is eNEWSDirect, the weekend edition. I'm Kathy Muthahlana. It's great to have you with us this evening.
Good evening from me, Jeffrey Stevens. Welcome.
And of course, you can track our main stories using the following hashtags: hashtag IPID and hashtag Absa.
You can comment on any of our stories by following us on Facebook and Twitter at eNEWSDirect, or check our content on our website, eNCA.com/direct.
Well, let's begin our bulletin here. IPID boss Robert McBride has passed his lie detector test. He took the polygraph test to prove his innocence after the head of the Gauteng Hawks charged him with various crimes. The charges include conspiracy to commit murder, treason and espionage. Prince Mokotedi initially agreed to take the test too, but he later backed out. The IPID says it's not moved by the charges.
The person who made the accusations is Prince Mokotedi. Now the ball is in the Hawks' court, but Mr. McBride's position is that this is the same as other allegations made against him and other investigations by the Hawks, including the rendition investigation. All of this is part of a bigger plot to find a reason to remove him from his position. And all of these will fail like the others.
An accident has claimed 13 lives in the Western Cape. The deadly crash took place on the N1 between Durance and Worcester in the Western Cape. A minibus taxi collided with an Intercape bus this morning. The victims include 7 men, 4 women and 2 young children. We understand that one of the children was just 6 months old. 3 people were rushed to Worcester Provincial Hospital. They remain in a critical but stable condition. Officials are calling on motorists to obey road signs. They say there's evidence that the driver may have broken the rules.
My first reaction is to extend our deepest condolences to the families and loved ones of the 13 people who were killed this morning. Just after 4 o'clock in the morning. It was a minibus taxi, which was near Sandhills in the Hex River Valley, at first light, that went into a bus. And unfortunately, it has tragic consequences. I was alerted to it very early this morning. There were clear signs, and I'm going to say this live on your show, that there were warning signs at that stretch of the road, 3 of them telling vehicles not to overtake in the direction that the taxi was going. And it's quite clear to see from the photographs that I've seen what is happening. But obviously it'll have to go through a proper investigation process, and there's also video footage from the camera mounted on the bus, which will help the investigation.
Absa Bank is backing Finance Minister Pravin Gordhan. The financial institution says it would be illegal for him to intervene in the stalemate between the country's banks and the Gupta family. Earlier this year, the 4 major banks terminated their services to the controversial family's businesses. Absa has now joined Gordhan's legal bid, seeking a declaratory order.
Absa says it decided to end its relationship with the Gupta family when it noted a large number of unexplained fund transfers between the Gupta's Oak Bay companies and other parties. In an answering affidavit filed in the North Gauteng High Court, the bank says Oak Bay could not account for many of the transactions. In October, Finance Minister Pravin Gordhan approached the court to rule whether he has the authority to intervene in relationships between banks and their clients. Gordhan says the Gupta family and cabinet colleagues had approached him to stop the 4 banks from terminating their business with the controversial family. In his affidavit, Gordhan notes 72 flagged transactions by the Financial Intelligence Centre, totaling 6.8 billion rand by the family and their companies. Absa's affidavit states the minister's intervention would have set a dangerous precedent for the banking industry and would not have been in the public's interest. It would also have created risk for the confidential relationship between banks and clients. Absa adds ministerial intervention would compromise its relationship with international clearing banks. Other banks supporting the minister's application include FirstRand, which earlier this month said an order indicating ministers could not intervene in the relationship between banks and their clients would encourage public officials to act lawfully. John Bailey, Pretoria.
Holidaymakers in Port Edward, KwaZulu-Natal are having a dry Christmas. The area has been plagued by water supply problems since last week. Visitors and businesses are having a tough time.
Port Edward on the south coast is the perfect getaway, with loads on offer for the thousands who flock here. But this time, there's one thing missing: running water.
You're planning your day around collecting water, because you have to have for the toilets, you have to have drinking water, you're boiling water now, so it's just taking that bit of relaxation out of your stay here.
It's made it a little bit miserable because we're having to collect water all the time, and you love to have a shower after you've been on the beach, and this is very inconvenient.
The water shortage since last week is cutting into the profits of business owners. Excessive demand and faults have contributed to the dry taps.
My bookings are down at least 50%. At least 50%. My holiday bookings. So yeah, it's huge. It's huge on the town. Although the town looks very busy, it's got a huge impact.
Residents recently bought their own water tanks to mitigate the problem. The Ugu District Municipality believes its water supply was sabotaged recently, adding to its woes, but says it's close to restoring the supply to all areas. Desan Tathia, Port Edward, KwaZulu-Natal.
A teenager with a serious medical condition has received a unique gift this Christmas. 13-year-old Emlyn Singh has received a new lease on life after she successfully underwent a landmark pediatric heart transplant. Singh is the first child to undergo the procedure at the Maboneng Heart Institute in Johannesburg.
After waiting for a year, Emlyn Singh's wish has finally come true. The 13-year-old has received a new heart. She was among over 4,000 South Africans waiting for a new organ.
It was very hard because there was always the chance that she would go into cardiac arrest. The family feel blessed that it's only been a year, as there are other children who's been waiting a lot longer than that.
Although this hasn't been an easy journey for her, Singh hopes to recover and live her life to the fullest.
Emlyn's doing great at the moment, and she's got a lot more energy, and she can't wait to go for a swim. She does have big plans. The family has been discussing the possibility of doing an online course on jewellery and dress design.
Doctors say she suffered from cardiomyopathy, a chronic illness of the heart muscle.
We have to keep a close eye on her in terms of always the possible lurking organ rejection. And then subsequently we have to tailor a medication and make sure that she grows well with the organ.
Singh is one of the lucky few as the country in the world battles to get more organ donors.
Our goal is to try and create awareness to the public where we can try and help so many people that really suffer from end-stage organ failure. Not only pediatric patients with heart failure, but there are lots of adult and other patients around with heart, lung disease, kidney and end-stage liver disease that require transplantation as well.
It will certainly be a Merry Christmas for this teenager who hopes many more can receive a life-saving gift. Kylie Khumalo, Johannesburg.
Well, let's take a look at some news-making international headlines now. We begin on the continent. Nigeria is claiming yet another victory against Boko Haram. President Muhammadu Buhari says the army has captured the group's last stronghold in the Sambisa forest. The military, with the support of a regional force, have recaptured a broad strip of territory from the insurgents since last year. Boko Haram has killed thousands of people and displaced more than 2 million since 2009. The man suspected of ploughing through a Berlin Christmas market travelled through 3 countries after the attack. Italian officials say Annie Amri was able to travel from Germany to France and then on to Italy without being stopped. He was eventually shot dead after a chance encounter with an Italian policeman who recognized him. 12 people died in the market attack on Tuesday. America's first family have delivered their last Christmas address. Barack and Michelle Obama are reflecting on how far they've come since the last festive season.
Merry Christmas, everybody. One of the best parts of the holiday season is spending time with the special people in your life. And for me, that means getting some help from my best friend for our annual Christmas weekly address.
Now, given how our first Christmas weekly address went, I realized that Barack needed all the help he could get. This is our first Christmas in the White House, and what? Stop! What? You know what? You've got to stop it. All right, you got to get it together. You're gonna have to pull it together, POTUS. This year's White House holiday theme is the gift of the holidays, and our decorations reflect some of our greatest gifts as a nation, from our incredible military families to the life-changing impact of a great education.
And on behalf of all the Obamas, Michelle, Malia, Sasha, Bo, and that troublemaker Sonny. Merry Christmas, everybody.
And we wish you and your family a happy and healthy 2017. Thanks, and God bless.
Coming up in the entertainment bulletin, Jeff, as some of Cape Town's history is being brought to life on stage, the Baxter Theatre is taking Cape Townians back to their roots with a production called Absa. Well, thanks for staying with us. Takealot.com has been struggling to fill Father Christmas shoes. Some people may find their stockings empty tomorrow. Irate customers are complaining that the online retailer has let them down by failing to deliver their purchases on time. Takealot.com is yet to respond to eNCA's request for comment.
Takealot.com told Santa he didn't need to make any deliveries this Christmas. But now some disappointed shoppers will have nothing under the tree. People have taken to social media to complain that the gifts they ordered online have still not been delivered. Long queues have formed outside Takealot warehouses as people try to retrieve their purchases. Digital specialist Gavin Stafford has received some, but not all of his orders.
We haven't received our order, and we made it on the 17th of December. And that was the last day that you could make an order, and then it was going to arrive. So my present hasn't arrived, the one that my wife ordered.
Online shopping has risen in popularity over the last few years and is expected to yield 20 billion rand in turnover this year. About a fifth of that happens over the festive season.
People are increasingly turning to online shopping, just generally and obviously for Christmas. And I think the online shopping sites and the e-commerce sites have been a victim of their own success, and they probably underestimated the demand and the amount of people that would be ordering.
However, Takealot has been engaging with customers over social media and email, trying to hastily get deliveries out in the hours before Christmas. Teresa Taylor, Johannesburg.
And finally, some of Cape Town's history is being brought to life on stage. An Alistair Isabel production, Absa, is taking Cape Townians back to their roots. The play depicting settler voyages and forced removals is on at the Baxter Theatre.
It's a jaw like no other. Musical production Absa takes audiences on a trip down memory lane. It tells the story of Cape Townians' painful historic experiences and details the roots of the city's languages and traditions.
the arrival of the slaves in the 1400s, and then how we kind of cross-pollinated between different cultures, etc., and to the culmination of the survival of people and the atrocities that happened to people, and both the political climate that happened between the 50s and 2000s, and how we've come to a point with freedom and celebrating the idiosyncrasies of all these people.
Isabel wrote the musical score, which has had audiences dancing in their seats. Idols winner and now first-time actress Sasha Lee Davids says the production has taught her about coloured identity.
I got to learn things that I never knew even happened in Cape Town. And when you come and watch the show, you realize what culture we have here. And people that don't even know they have a culture. I mean, you just think, I'm a coloured, I'm this, I'm that. But there's actually a Cape Townian culture.
The production runs at the Baxter until January 14th. Piladi Situsa, Cape Town.
That's your entertainment for tonight. After the break, Joel Guy has your latest weather forecast.
It's Christmas Eve and welcome to the Weather Center, everyone. We stayed with mostly clear skies throughout Saturday across the western parts of South Africa, but we still have this cold front pushing rain clouds into the southern parts of KwaZulu-Natal, where we stayed with light rain throughout the day. We are also still seeing storm clouds drifting from Botswana into the central and eastern areas, where we have a cluster of thunderstorms extending from Limpopo down into the easternmost parts of KwaZulu-Natal. Now, on Christmas Day, it's going to be cloudy and pretty wet across much of eastern South Africa, and you will need to watch out for heavy rains over parts of the northwest, Gauteng and Limpopo. It's going to be cooler across much of eastern South Africa, but mostly sunny and warm to hot weather is forecast over the western parts of the country. KwaZulu-Natal is going to be cloudy to overcast with isolated to scattered rain and thunderstorms. Temperatures on the mild to warm side across the province. We are also going to see isolated thundershowers over the northern and eastern parts of the Eastern Cape, partly cloudy along much of the east coast, but we could see showers in the evening around East London. Partly cloudy as well for the south coast of the Western Cape, mostly sunny and warm to hot for the rest of the province. Cape Town warming to around 29 degrees. We are also going to have mostly sunny and hot weather across much of the Northern Cape, but thundershowers could cool things down over the easternmost areas. It's going to be pretty unsettled across much of the Free State, mild over the eastern areas, but warmer over the western sections. A mild day is also forecast across much of the northwest, where scattered to widespread thunderstorms are forecast for your Christmas Day. Pretty unsettled weather is forecast over Limpopo, Polokwane and Tzaneen, warming to just around 21 degrees. It gets cooler as we go towards Mpumalanga, where widespread thunderstorms are forecasted throughout your Sunday. We are also expecting scattered to widespread storms across Gauteng. Temperatures here lying in the lower 20s. We stay with thunderstorms across much of the interior on Monday. Sunny and hot weather is forecast for Cape Town. Tuesday sees stormy weather persisting across the bulk of the country.
Here's a recap of your top stories tonight. IPID head Robert McBride passes a lie detector test after the head of the Gauteng Hawks charged him with various crimes. Another deadly day on South Africa's road. At least 13 people were killed in an accident in the Western Cape. Well, that's a wrap from the eNEWSDirect team.
Up next is your Saturday night movie, Arthur Christmas.
Well, Jeff is certainly spreading the Christmas cheer. And of course, you can share your views with us. You send an email to eNEWSDirect@etv.co.za.
Or chat to us on Twitter and Facebook at eNEWSDirect.
Until next time, have yourselves a Merry Christmas. Good night.
Good night.